college football's back. It's back, baby. And by back, I mean like it's been around for a long time. But for us, and
it's been, I mean,
we're talking about
meddling through bowl season basically at this point.
But it's playoff week one. Week one on that. So let's
we jumping?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we have too much on the news front. So
no, you want? I was just say we can flip through the news cycle if you want, but I think most of it's NFL.
Yeah, it is. So we'll just do a little college first. It's gonna be a longer session. We got 5 guys. There's actually like 7 technically ranks,
right?
But I figured these would be the 5.
Yeah.
And they're in order. So, start off Clemson, Tennessee. 10 versus 6, -5.5 to Clemson. Total 63.5. How you feeling about that one? I mean, quarterbacks are going to be interesting.
The thing I don't know is everyone going to play for both of these teams for the most part. I haven't heard of anything big with either one of these two teams. Obviously, Tennessee's backup quarterback will be playing.
Yes.
But we've seen flashes of very good play. Clemson's backup quarterback will also be playing.
Yeah, because he's better.
But they're actually better with him.
Yeah.
And would arguably be in the playoff if he just would have been playing all year. So I'm going to lean towards defense because I think both offenses are fairly level at this point.
Yeah, I'd agree. I would agree.
Tennessee, I think, has a little more explosiveness on offense, but Clemson's defense, I think, is clearly better. So I would lean towards Clemson winning the game. 5.5 just doesn't speak to me in any way, so I'd probably take Clemson both on the money line and the spread of that without digging too deep into overall statistics and stuff like that. Tennessee's defense has given up a lot of points in several of the bigger games against bigger opponents, but they've shown flashes of being able to turn the ball over as well. So if Clemson doesn't take care of it, then Tennessee can put up points in a hurry, even with the backup quarterback, because that guy can play. So I'm going to lean towards Clemson on this one, but I wouldn't be very high on my confidence scale.
No, but overall, I think it's going to be a good game. There's NFL talent on that field. It's going to be great to watch.
Yeah.
Backup quarterbacks. One is a true backup. Obviously, Hooker's a better quarterback, but this guy's still a stud too. So let's not get crazy about that.
And he's had a lot of time with the team now.
But talent on both sides. Backup quarterbacks. Quarterbacks are solid.
Yeah.
I think it's a really fun. I think it'll be a really fun game. I love how we're kicking this week off with that. I'm not so heavy on Clemson. I think Tennessee will cover. I am going to lean towards Clemson, though, because of what you said about the defense, but mainly so because Tennessee's quarterback is good, but also he is a true backup. Like, he does not have as much experience as the Clemson. So, and Clemson's played in a lot of big games. Tennessee has been not as good in big games.
Right.
So I'll go Clemson, Tennessee, and apparently we're back to excellent connection. 63.5.
Yeah.
This bowl seasons have trends. This bowl season's trend has actually relatively been under.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, Tennessee can score so fast.
Yeah.
63. That's a 34-30. Can easily get there. Whew. That one's tough for me. I'm gonna go with the trend on this one though. Give me the under.
There it is. I'm taking the over. Look, more from an entertainment perspective. Hope to see the best out of both offenses. See if Clemson can continue to trend in the right direction with their offense as they've switched quarterbacks. and we know Tennessee's explosive will be, I would say, arguably the most explosive team that Clemson plays all year. So
yeah, absolutely. Now, and let's not get it wrong here. Bowl season's difficult because they've had a month to prepare. Like, bowl season for probably the first half is all coaching.
Right.
By the way, second half is just because they have to make adjustments. Like, this is a lot of coaching.
But both of these teams are actually, in my opinion, the offenses are going to benefit from the break more than 99% of teams, simply because they technically have new quarterbacks that are going to now be fully ingrained, or should be fully ingrained in their systems.
Into one game plan.
Into a game plan against one specific opponent that you've had this long to prepare for.
Right.
So,
yeah, you're right. And that's what makes
what leans me to
it's going to be a fun
lean
one.
Towards the over, and I think it should be a fun game.
This is going to be a real fun one.
Because I've had no interest in watching Clemson all year with their quarterback in there.
DJ Ugalele?
Yeah, that guy. DJU. DJ Transfer Portal.
Transfer Portal. He'll be starting somewhere. Not at Clemson.
Will he?
Yeah, I mean, somewhere. You're not going to transfer to go sit.
You heard anywhere that's picking him up?
There's a lot of places that would.
Well, I'm just saying. Do you see Hartman's going Notre Dame?
Oh, really?
Wake Forest quarterback?
Really?
Yep. Fun. New college news on the week.
Number 11 K-State versus number 5 Alabama. Minus 6.5 total, 55.5.
Yeah. Love a good underdog story. Love a team that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can't see it.
Bama is going to beat them, and beat them pretty well.
6.5. I mean, this is the old, Kansas State pulling out all the stops.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Alabama's got a chip on their shoulder right now.
Yeah.
And Bryce Young still trying to make an impression on scouts.
Bryce Young's going to throw for 400 yards and 4 to 6 tutties. He's going to have to show out. Bama's going to want to run this score up to 1 million.
Okay.
There's no way around that situation.
Yeah, I mean,
so Bama over. Like, this has to happen for them. K-State, I believe, will they'll do what they do. They'll come back late, and which is why the over, like, it's going over 55.5. Like, that's going to happen. Mainly because K-State's going to come back. Let's go. We're 2 for 2 last week. Let's ride that train. But, Bama's just an overall better squad.
Yeah.
Nothing to say about it. They shouldn't be ranked 5, but whatever. They're just going to wipe the floor.
Yeah. I wish I could think differently, but I don't like the matchup. I don't like the matchup for Kansas State.
No. Poor matchup. Now, speaking of matchups, number 9 Penn State versus number 7 Utah. Utah is minus 2.5, 52.5 is the total.
Yeah.
What do you think about this matchup?
I don't know what to think about Penn State. They played Michigan tough for a half, Ohio State tough for 3 quarters, if I remember correctly. But they don't they don't do anything bad, but they don't do anything elite.
They have a solid defense, offense there.
This is a Big Ten matchup from a stylistic standpoint of how Utah plays. Strength is going to be in the quarterback play and being able to lean on defensive playmakers. Penn State's strength is going to be Big Ten strength of defensive running game. Try not to make mistakes. Team that makes the least amount of mistakes is going to win the game. Again, all coach speak, very basic items. I think Utah has more explosive players, specifically on offense, and so that's going to make me lean towards Utah. 2.5 is the number, and so I have them covering as well, the 2.5.
I can't argue it. Utah's more explosive. Their offense is, to me, head and shoulders above Penn State's.
Yeah.
Defensively, sure, if we say they're even, but Penn State will not be able to run. They can't do a track meet. Utah's used to it in the Pac-12. And I don't think it's not a dominant Penn State team. It's not an Iowa defense in the Big Ten. We're not talking about that type of Big Ten defense.
No.
It's above average.
Right.
but it's not that. And Utah's they're going to be able to just out playmaker stuff.
Yeah. So you've got Utah covering the 2.5 as well.
Yeah.
And the number's 52.5. Again, neither one of these offenses is overly explosive. Penn State's not going to want to play fast unless something changes from, the rest of the regular season. And Utah is not a team that plays with a ton of tempo. I mean, they can mirror teams well. And so I just don't see this game going over the 52. There it is.
No. I don't see Penn State scoring more than 20. And that means Utah's going to get to 33.
Mm-hmm.
Nah.
Yeah.
That's a lot of points.
All right.
God, I'm going to break a lot of rules with this one. Just because we don't have... Oh, yeah, we do. The chills, the excitement through the veins. YouTube did not yell at us, so that's cool. Maybe we can play those. Anywho, here we go. College playoffs.
I wish I was more excited for these games.
I know, but it's college playoffs.
That's my hot take.
I don't give a shit about your hot take. Add excitement. We have to. It's our job. It's our job to put hype into these games.
It's my job to be realistic on the number 1 and number 2 teams, as we've talked about all year, being head and shoulders above everyone else in college football.
Oh, I know.
There. How's that for excitement?
I know.
Let's start with Michigan TCU.
Yeah, because it's the first game. So let's do that.
That is a 7.5 point spread for Michigan. And they have been susceptible to first half blunders and or no-shows, and then been one of the strongest closing teams in college football, if not the strongest closing team in college football. However, they are playing TCU, who is also the strongest closing team in college football. As far as comebacks, putting up points, a quarterback that has the never say die attitude. They're kind of the cardiac Horned Frogs.
I like that. Are you teeing up a backdoor cover or a backdoor cover of the over-under?
But here's the thing: is Michigan's strength more going to rise more than TCU? And I have to say yes.
And by their strength, you
meaning
mean the fact
their
that they're going to run
ability
the
to close
football.
games, run the football in the second half, and not only run the football, but run the football for points.
Correct.
They're not just running the football and getting 3 first downs and then punting. They're running the football down your throat, and then we're going to score.
And
see Ohio State game, see Penn State game, see.
And what's the problem with TCU's defense? The defense. Like
the defense in general is
they're Big
just
12.
very susceptible.
Correct. So I don't feel like they're going to be able to stop Michigan.
No.
Not unless they come up with something. Again, it's been a month.
Right.
Scheme-wise, first couple drives.
And TCU is going to be able
out.
to do some things early, in my opinion, because Michigan is going to be feeling them out, trying to figure out, like Michigan does, where are their holes? Where can we expose them?
Michigan's going to come out and pound the rock to say, we are better than you, and we're going to run the ball.
Right.
If that fails, then they'll figure it out.
Right.
If it doesn't, long day for TCU.
Yeah.
Long day in that first. And it's first 2 drives. First 2 drives, they're going to. Why wouldn't they?
I don't see TCU being able to run the ball against Michigan.
No.
They do have some big receivers that they can throw to. Obviously, they've got, Duggan can run. and he can make plays. But
by the way, is it Duggan or Dugan?
both.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Dugan needs to be in Dugan mode for a good 3 quarters. I'll give him the first quarter, fill it out. Good 3 quarters, he needs to be in that mode. That's a long time.
Yeah, and it's not something that he hasn't shown all year that he's a 4-quarter, and like not even in a bad way, but
Take
like
over.
the reason why you're a good comeback team is that your quarterback takes himself to an elite level of which you can't sustain for 4 quarters. And so like 4th quarter, late 3rd quarter into 4th quarter when they get down, Dugan's leadership, his throw it on my shoulders, I'll run, I'll pass, I'll fake, I'll scramble, I'll do whatever. You can't do that against elite level competition, which Michigan will be the best team that they played all year.
And he'll have to do it for 3 quarters, not a quarter and a half.
Right.
And it's going to end up being short. And he'll have his run.
I really like the first half under in this.
Do you?
I just
whatever that
just
is.
Makes sense
Whatever the
for
first
what
half
these
under
teams
is.
do.
Yeah.
But the overall game total's 58.5. If you think that TCU will find a way to score against Michigan, then it probably gets there. If you think that Michigan can dominate for 4 quarters, I don't think it does. So that's where I'm at as far as the overall thinking of it. I don't think Michigan can lose this game.
No, they'll be in cruise control most of the game, in my opinion. So they won't lose.
Right.
If we're wrong about everything else, they're not going to lose the ball game.
Right. Can TCU be competitive enough, as they have been
pressure the whole
all
time?
year, to cover the 7.5?
No.
I don't think so either.
They're going to be down. They're going to be down 17 going into the 4th, and Michigan's going to be in hand the football off and run clock.
Mm-hmm.
They might get a late one, but 10? I'll beat them by 10 at like a minimum to me. And that's a late backdoor Michigan fumbled while trying to run the clock out type thing.
This game I look at it and I just see 34-24 written all over this game, which is 58.
Whew.
But I don't see it getting any higher than that.
Michigan has to get to 40 for this thing to go over.
Mm-hmm.
You don't think they do? That's no. I don't even think that's in their game plan.
Right.
The only way it does is turnovers, which we cannot account for. Which is a scary situation.
Good luck.
Oh, we are in for if you like the teams that we're picking against, you should be in for a really good week.
Absolutely, because we haven't picked college football in a while either.
Yeah.
So that's good. Ohio State, Georgia, minus 6.5, 62.5. Everyone knows
start.
Georgia. I don't know what the problem is. I don't have a problem. Like, I know Georgia. I know what we're getting out of Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what we're getting from Ohio State. They have not shown the capability of big games and doing what we think they should be doing.
Yeah.
How it's 6.5 is actually a absolute mind effort to me. Maybe Vegas knows something we don't.
Right.
But I was thinking more like 12.5. Then I'm going to play with,
Right.
something to think about. 6.5 is not.
Yeah, we're both in Georgia here. I think money line and on the spread of 6.5. The only question is the number at 62.5 and what you think Ohio State's offense can or can't do against a Georgia defense who's been susceptible this year, more so than previous year.
Yeah.
And an offense that's been a little more up and down. I mean, they have the weapons, obviously, but
Do they? Have they really shown? To me, if you have weapons, you're averaging 30 point, 35, 30, 40 point. Well, in college, sorry. Averaging that. They're not.
all right.
On paper, cool, but they have not shown up.
I don't disagree.
That's where you get to back to this argument. I cannot wait till this offseason is going to be great.
Is Georgia going to score 40 in this game?
That's my thing. I can't rule it out. but I don't think they're going to. Turnovers would get them over 40 without a doubt. They're gonna score in the 30s, and that's the issue for me. But they have to get the turnovers because I don't think they're going to try to be that explosive because they don't need to be.
Yeah.
Why do they need to be explosive?
I mean, this is like a 37-20 game.
Yeah. Now a random, punt return or a pick six,
Right.
and we're screwed. But I will hold my hand on my Lord. Just 4 straight, huh?
Just disgusting.
Because it's going to make me physically ill.
But you start to follow the money.
We haven't played that one.
Sure.
I just had to.
Yeah.
In this one.
The Goonsquad!
So this comes down to, we could actually tie this whole thing. That's the worst part.
Yeah.
And if we tie, we both take one because
Yeah.
that's where we're at. Speaking of that, you haven't taken your Goldschlager?
No, not yet.
Okay.
A lot of show left.
Yeah, we do have a lot of shit left.
So, I mean, we're just tip of the iceberg here. So hope the games are great. Really do. I hope that we see the best of TCU from a Max Duggan perspective. I hope that actually I don't really care if we see the best of Ohio State. They can go crawl under a rock, in my opinion.
I mean, let's be real. We want Georgia, Michigan.
Yeah.
How would you not want Georgia, Michigan?
Right. And I would like both of those teams to be somewhat dominant in just showing that that's the two teams that we deserve to see. The other games, I just don't see much excitement coming out of that Penn State game. Hopefully there is. We've had a lot of exciting games this year. Hope Kansas State can give Alabama all they want. Again, just don't see that happening. And I think
The most exciting
really
game.
just hoping that Clemson-Tennessee game can live up to.
It right now is the one that is
That's the most intriguing in my opinion. Yeah.
Aside from the the whole playoff
Right.
thing, that's kind of where we're at. Do we do best bets on just those
I mean,
or no?
Well then, it's time.